welcome to the D3D4 Football Podcast with me, your host, James Richards. Good morning, everyone. It's another Sunday. It's another D3D4 Football Podcast looking exclusively at League 1 and 2. It's quintessentially British, this, isn't it, Chris? Lower League football at its finest.
Absolutely.
How are you doing this morning? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Got up nice and early because I managed to fall asleep watching the highlights last night. So, the excitement of seeing an Oldham win must have done it for me.
That's it, knocked you out. Yeah, both our teams won. It's funny because we are meant to be joined by Ed Walker this morning, but he's gone AWOL. I do wonder if the result yesterday had anything to do with it, but I'm sure he's just overslept, but he may be joining us later in the pod. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But before we get into the football, of which there was some great stuff to chat about this week. Thank you to our latest patron, Tom Davies. Brilliant to have another patron on board, and I really do appreciate all the support the patrons give us. We really are just a volunteer podcast, website. We've been doing this for years. We try and avoid sponsorship, much like most of football, from betting companies, and so having patrons is really refreshing. It's great to have you guys on board, and of course, if you're a patron and you want us to talk about any particular subjects, it's the email is always open, d3d4football@hotmail.com, and you can always give us an email before on Saturday night, and we'll get those questions into the podcast. So really good stuff. Before we get in as well to any of the football, Chris, there was a rule change mid-season that saw 5 subs be brought in. Now, being able to swap your whole team around practically during a game is not something I support, but if this podcast does see Chris disappear halfway through and be replaced by Bob Flowerdew and Alan Titchmarsh, it's all for the better, isn't it? There you go. It's a completely different podcast in that case. But that's my point, isn't it? I'm not happy with this rule change. I think, firstly, for 2 reasons really. One, it loses the intensity of a match when you can change literally half the outfield players. And secondly, it's been brought in mid-season. So all those teams that had injury problems at the start of the season have basically been hugely disadvantaged by this being brought in now.
I totally agree, and I'm not a fan in principle of the 5 sub rule, but I understand the logic of having it specifically for this season, with there being a limited pre-season, and also as we've discussed, you get players out with illness through COVID. I think the big problem is that it's been brought in partway through the season, which has potentially affected recruitment. Some teams might have recruited to have a larger squad rather than spending money on 1 or 2 really good players. You're disadvantaging these teams that have had injury crises and players lost to COVID earlier in the season. Yeah,
and although people say it doesn't work in the EFL where it advantages the big teams, of course it does. If you've got...
Of course it does.
Yeah, exactly.
Your big teams can afford to sign more players and can afford to have 5 quality substitutions rather than bringing in some of the younger players that maybe aren't as good quality, aren't as strong, aren't as good quality. Of course it's going to benefit the larger teams.
I've seen some vague support for it from some managers. I'll be honest, there's been a few who've got, like Harry Kewell was kind of on the fence. He said, well, it's a bit weird that you can change half your team, but he could see why it's been brought in. Joey Barton, the sort of same. But quite a lot of managers have basically said, I'm not for it. John Askey at Port Vale, Matt Taylor at Exeter, Chris Beach voted against it at Carlisle. Lots of managers not happy about it. So, but it is what it is. It seems it's been brought in. Personally, don't like it myself, but we'll see how it goes as the season progresses. I just hope this isn't a door opening for it to be there permanently.
Yeah.
No way. You should not as a manager be able to make such a bad tactical decision at the beginning of a match that you can literally change half your team and try and get away with it. Through.
I think 3 is a good number. You've got space for tactical changes, and you've got space for leaving 1 over in case there's an injury late on.
Exactly.
5 feels like overkill.
And I'm not entirely convinced that soft tissue injuries will go down because you've got 5 subs.
I'm sure soft tissue injuries are from prolonged. I'm not a physiotherapist, so someone can happily correct me on this, but I thought it was more to do with continuous strain on a muscle rather than overdoing it a bit.
Yeah,
in one game.
I don't know. But anyway, Matt Taylor has a sports science degree, and he doesn't think it'll make a difference. But
I'll pass to him. I'm a geologist.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's jump into the football, and we'll start in League One. League One. And the first bit of news in League One was that Paul Tisdale is the new manager at Bristol Rovers, a man who he's so likeable. I mean, he comes across so honest. His first post-match interview, despite defeat, was very honest, and he'd only had one day to train with the players, so obviously. And
Can't believe he didn't get a win.
Yeah, I did actually see some Bristol Rovers fans saying, "Oh, what a negative start," and stuff like this. I thought, come on, yeah, harsh indeed. I mean, I know he maybe didn't tactically set up particularly well, but
there's so much you can take tactically from the first game, and when you've not seen them in training yet.
Yeah, indeed, it's a bit unfair on him, isn't it? I think he's a good appointment. I mean, he will bring something to this team. He's methodical. He's very thorough. He plays good football. Let's be honest. He does play a good brand of football. He's experienced.
He's a fantastic manager. He really is, and he did excellent work with Exeter. He's got a fantastic selection of hats. He's got everything you want in a manager.
Selection of hats, indeed. Yeah, his dress sense is pretty cool, isn't it? His dress sense is pretty cool. How long do you think it will take him to get this team going? Because of course he's coming in at a time when you've got hardly any training time available because it's just game after game after game.
Well, this is the real difficulty with changing a manager this season in particular. There isn't a lot of time to spend on the training pitch coaching them in your sort of philosophy. I think what he will do is he'll bring a little bit more energy out of the players that he's already got there, set them up a little bit differently, and I expect that they'll kick on a bit. I wouldn't expect wonders from him immediately, but give him a little bit of time, and I think he'll do well. And as was said yesterday, there's a project there for Paul Tisdale. It's not a quick fix. He's a manager that will come in and build something at a club.
Indeed, he will. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. Basically, give him time though, Rovers fans. One game. Although it was a big win for Swindon, big important win for Swindon, I think John Sheridan would have been delighted. I saw their assistant manager say that despite their poor form, that is a massive 3 points. So
and they were defensively better, far tighter at the back, which is what Sheridan brings to a team really.
Yeah, indeed, more than we can say for Plymouth as well, who were terrible. And before we jump into Plymouth, let's just welcome Ed Walker to the podcast. Finally got out of bed, Mr. Walker.
Oh, I did not have a good night.
I can imagine. I said to Chris, you've been on the booze, and I can't imagine why.
Drowning sorrows.
Well, you're with us now. And you can, in fact, let's come to you because your team, you like Plymouth, but they were terrible yesterday, weren't they? Just defensively all over the place.
Yeah, I think this has probably been coming for a while with Plymouth, hasn't it? We talk about how they're still a bit weak defensively compared to going forwards, and we know the quality Fleetwood have got, particularly with people like Callum Camps, and this was, I think, a bit of an off day. I don't think Plymouth will have this very often this season, just a heavy defeat like this, but all credit to Fleetwood for a very dominant display and an example of exactly what they're capable of. Yeah,
it's Fleetwood. I mean, let's be honest, in terms of form, they're creeping, aren't they? I mean, they're the second best. It depends how many games you take in the form table. I always generally take 6, and Fleetwood are second in the form table, having won 5 and lost one of their last 6 games. So 15 points from the last 18 available ain't too bad. And they're starting to motor, and I think that's important. I know Ryan Lowe said that this was a bad one, and he'll want to jump away from it quite quickly. But it is a sign, because Fleetwood have got Sunderland next. Sunderland, another team, sort of not playing well at the moment. More on that in a minute. But it's a tough place for anyone to go, isn't it? And like you said, Chris, you WhatsApped me this morning just to remind me that those Plymouth fans would have loved hearing that music.
Your favourite song got played a lot.
Yeah, that would have been fun for them, wouldn't it?
Oh, delightful!
It is absolutely heartbreaking to hear that song when you can see it there, though. It's I was saying to you, Fleetwood's it's one of my favourite stadiums to visit because it's a proper old school away end. But it is. There's two things I hate as an away fan: conceding at a big stadium somewhere like Bramall Lane where you've got 30,000 fans cheering, and conceding at Fleetwood because they play that bloody song. Yeah,
there is not many places. I'm personally dead against goal music. But when it's like
to
this,
be fair.
I just think like goal music, isn't it? It's like,
There's some goal music that's all right. It's just that one is horrific.
oh, come on, no goal music. It's like
The classic's Chelsea dagger, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
oh, I can't stand goal music. You have that one, oh. And you think,
I can't remember what Burton's goal music is. It's been that long.
oh, I can't stand
That's the way I
it.
feel at the minute.
We don't have it. It's fine. We don't score anyway, so.
Yeah.
Beg to differ.
Yeah, that's the way to negate it, isn't it? Just to have a rubbish team.
Just don't score, yeah.
Just don't score. It's like music to tell you when you need to be happy. I mean, most football fans inherently should know, when it's time to cheer. But yeah, massive result, Fleetwood. Excellent performance. A 5-1 victory over Plymouth Argyle. So it's a bit of a statement of intent. Accrington, 0-0 draw with Lincoln yesterday. Gillingham and Charlton played out a 1-1 draw in what was a pretty good game of football. Doncaster and Sunderland, 1-1.
Oh, what a goal to start with from Leadbitter, was it?
Did you see Luke O'Nine's reaction? He's like head on your hands. I can't believe what I've just seen.
Yeah. But why are Sunderland sitting back again? Why every week they score and then they sit back?
I've saved this for the podcast. I haven't checked, right? I'm just going to check how many substitutes Phil Parkinson made. He's allowed 5. He made 2. Oh, that's terrible.
And when was that first one made?
Minute.
Yeah.
The first one was made where? Oh, the 82nd minute.
Was the 82nd minute.
Until the 82nd minute.
Yeah. And he didn't take off Charlie White, who was blowing from his backside, according to fans on Twitter, after about 50 minutes.
And Leadbitter, when has he played 90 minutes in his career? He's always... Why would you not take him off? He was blowing as well.
I have to say, I understand some of the fans, when they boss... I mean, they were the better team. I've seen Doncaster fans saying they nicked that's their most stolen point of the season, But Grant Leadbitter, Josh Scown probably with his best game for the club yesterday was excellent. I mean, defensively they were pretty sound until that sort of switched off at the end. But if you allow 5 subs, Mr. Parkinson, why make just 2? I mean, I know Doncaster made only 2, but maybe in different circumstances, if you're holding on to a lead, get some fresh legs on in there.
It's not good enough from Parkinson, and it's happening every week at the moment. Even when they win, they're not looking assured in their winning. And they're 8th in League One. Sunderland should not be 8th in League One. We've said this every season. Every season they've got a fantastic squad, and something's just going wrong.
Yeah. He's digressed, doesn't he? Better. He's digressed to that kind of. You remember when he first came and he had that awful spell. It's kind of people gave him a bit of slack when he got them improving. Yeah. But where's the improvement? It's gone
he
backwards.
He did this at Bolton as well. His last few months at Bolton were very much.
Well, you can't really count the sort of
but
those last few games.
Yeah, okay, not the very last few games, but there was a period where he refused to change tactics, and you need a manager that's flexible, and he's inflexible in his tactics.
Yeah. Richard sent me some other guy's tweet, and I apologise, I can't remember who it was, but it basically said, well, even with 5 substitutes, Phil Parkinson will still just swap Charlie White for Danny Graham in the 95th minute.
Well, I do seem to remember the Doncaster goal. I think Tom Flanagan just lets Halliday go past him. I don't think he really makes an effort to try and really stop him. Maybe because he's in the box and he doesn't want to bring him down. But Halliday seems to just go past Flanagan like he's not even there.
It's too easy.
And then he goes across the box, and Tajiri's got a simple, scrambles it in. I was going to say tap, and he scrambles it really, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's Grimsby defending. That was. I watched that game this morning. We'll talk about that in League Two. But not a good result for Sunderland. Doncaster will be happy they got away with that, basically. They got away with not playing particularly well. Ipswich beat Shrewsbury by 2-1. And typical Shrewsbury Town, get a goal not from open play, and then Ipswich. Blimey, what was that?
Sorry, that was a cough. Sorry.
Oh, was it? My goodness me!
About that.
I thought someone had driven into your side of your house or something. Anyway, yes, back to Portman Road. Portman Road, 2-1 win for Ipswich, I say, and 90 something minute, 96, 93rd, 97th. 97th.
There we go. We've said every minute.
Yeah, exactly. Shrewsbury bottom of the form table, bar Wigan, who are basically a club in crisis, and And not good enough from Sam Ricketts again. It's really looking grim. Ipswich will be delighted though, because that's a bit of a patient bit of character. The performance is still not endearing the fans to Paul Lambert's football, but they're winning. So there's a bit of grace.
If they can get a bit more quality on the pitch.
I don't know if I'm right with this. Did I hear Sam Ricketts say they were good to 98% of the game? Is that what I heard him say?
Yeah, and he said something like they should have had 20 penalties.
Oh right, okay.
That's insightful commentary on the game.
Yeah, no, it may not have been 20. I might be embellishing that slightly, but it's kind of
grasping.
Yeah, he's clutching, and he's clutching there a little bit. Hull City going strong, top of the league. 3-1 win at MK Dons. They're doing really well. You can't deny they're doing well. They actually came with a really clever game plan as well. Grant McCann basically said we wanted Richard Keogh to have the ball. We knew he would try and play out, and then we'd exploit the space he leaves behind him. They did just that. Adelican and Wilkes are fast, good wingers in a 4-3-3, either side of big Josh McGuinness, and it worked a treat again. Absolutely worked a treat, and they deserved their victory. One player I think deserves huge credit as well is Jacob Greaves, playing centre-back after a great season at Cheltenham. He stepped up to League One, and as we all expected, he's doing superbly well.
Solid defender.
Oh, he's a great player. How was he as well? Yeah, do you know, he's 20, something like that?
He's only 20, yep.
Yeah, and he's superb. They've got Alfie Jones, of course, in midfield. George Honeyman, who's been a Rolls Royce this season. I mean, bit of a cliched expression, but he's been the man in that middle of the park who's run the show. I think he's created one of the highest number of chances in League One this season. He's playing alongside. I mean, Smallwood has got a lot of experience, and that's a really pretty formidable 11 when you look at it. There's not many weak spots. Josh Emanuel, I think, is a very good fullback, underrated in my opinion by a lot of people. Ingram's a good goalkeeper, and throughout that team they're playing well. And credit to them for keeping with Grant McCann, because I don't think he can take all the blame for what happened to him last season. In fact, I think the owner's selling his best players at the worst time of the season probably
doesn't usually help.
It doesn't help at all. Though I did see BBC Radio Humberside commentators say that MK Dons were one of the best footballing sides that they have seen this season, so that's a nod to Mr. Russell and his side. They are a good footballing side, but
Absolutely.
A little bit naive at times, I think, is what I'd say. And with a strong team like Hull playing against them, it's a bit too easy for them to get in behind. One other team I want to talk about in a bit of depth, obviously Portsmouth beating Crewe 4-1, guys. Portsmouth coming into their own a little bit, looking really strong. I don't know. Has Jacket turned a corner for anyone here? Do you think he sort of won any of the fans back? I think they're third in the form table, like I say, over the last 6 games with 4 wins and a draw in that time. Playing some decent football. I think as well, I put out some stats. They've had the most counter-attacks ending in a shot. They've had the most they've created the most chances. They've got the top scorer in the division. There's quite a lot of good stats about Portsmouth, despite some fans still registering their doubts about Kenny Jackett. What do you reckon, Abe?
It's always a difficult with Portsmouth, isn't it? They seem to always have a real kind of purple patch with form and then kind of drift off. I love the team at the minute. I think he's getting the best out of Harness. He's utilising Curtis really well. John Marquis is getting really involved. Is it Haji Mnuka? I'm trying to get the name right. Haji Mnuka, I think is the name. Young defender. He's getting him involved, and he's really in place as well. He's been looking excellent. Craig McGillivray, a very reliable goalkeeper. So, no, I think they're going fine. You're never quite sure with Portsmouth, if we're honest, how long it's going to last. But certainly at the minute, I think it's something fans should be quite happy with how things are going, and he certainly turned it around for what was a very dodgy start.
It will last as long as they play 4-4-2.
Yeah, well, up front and played John Marquis up front. He's not number 10. He's number 9.
He's not, and this is the first. I've got a mate who's a Portsmouth fan, and we've been chatting about this a lot. That Marquis is a different player in a 4-4-2. But he's a poacher. You've got to have someone else alongside him, otherwise he's not going to get the goals that they need. And jokes that Portsmouth fans are if they're winning, it's very much jacket in. As soon as there's a loss, it's jacket out. But as you've both sort of said he's getting the best out of his players, and as long as he can keep that, everyone's happy.
Yeah, really off day for Crewe in terms of let's be honest, they did give away some real, why couldn't they have done this on Tuesday night is what I want to know. Be generous, Crewe, we put a lot of effort into this podcast, we're on good terms. Just give Oxford the 3 points, not Portsmouth. My sister and my brother-in-law support them. We don't want them getting gloating rights, please. Honestly, really, not good. Anyway, big loss for Crewe, and I wouldn't read too much into it. It wasn't, in terms of the performance, it wasn't dreadful, just as the defending was. So, off day for them. And Blackpool finally coming good. They threatened some good performances at the start of the season, but Neil Critchley has done really well. Absolutely superb job. They playing 4-4-2. Jerry Yates playing up front with Gary Medine, and I think those two are formidable because they've got very different traits, haven't they? And they complement each other well. You've got CJ Hamilton on one side, you've got Sonny Kai on the other, and finally looking like a side. And the big addition, Kenny Dougal, the Australian who came in and was superb for Barnsley. Barnsley won. Do you remember when Barnsley, was it 2 seasons ago now? They came up, didn't they? And they brought in this guy, and I saw him play against Oxford, and I remember tweeting out, this guy's some player.
Yeah. This
guy's some player, and they've got him in the midfield there, and he's excellent. Let's be honest, he's excellent. And to beat Peterborough away, is a fantastic result. What do you reckon? Do we think Blackpool can now just keep going?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
They've got a good squad. I think we had them very much in the top half. I think floating around the playoffs in our predictions, if I remember correctly. They've got 3 wins on the bounce now in the league. Yeah.
They've got 12 points from the last 6 games, which is perfect. It's a good run.
It's what you want, and I think they can kick on now. I would be disappointed if they didn't kick on now, because I think this is just giving them that bit of confidence that they were lacking.
Yeah, defensively they've improved as well. Like they lack depth at centre back, and now they haven't. They've signed a couple of guys, and Epiketa. I'm going to kill myself.
Egg potato.
Oh dear, he's a good player. Blackpool fans know who we're talking about. Obviously, signed from Leyton Orient, and he's coming into his own. He's looking very strong. To be honest, when I saw him at Leyton Orient, I wasn't particularly. I wouldn't say I was not a fan of him, but I didn't see him as someone who was necessarily going to go up a level in the summer and do well. But good spot and a good pickup, and big result. Big result for Oxford as well, beating Wigan away 2-1. Made it hard for ourselves. Let's be honest. We still create too many chances which we don't take. But it was a better performance, and it's one we really had to win. I still don't like. I hate our away kit. It's terrible. It's like, it's too similar to a home kit. But anyway, let's not dwell on things that are not very important. Rubbish kit though.
We've had a go at rating kits before, and it didn't go well, James. So.
No, it didn't. It didn't go particularly well, did it? But yeah, no, big win for us, and just delighted that we got it over the line in the end. It was nice to see Rob Atkinson come back in the centre back. So we actually had 2 centre backs playing at the same time in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 really. But and it's good to see Matt Taylor get a goal. Took it really well. And he's needed that because he's had several chances this season, and unlike his normal form, he would be tucking them away. He hasn't had that many on the button this season. So pleased for him. Rochdale lost to AFC Wimbledon, who continue to impress. 1-0 win at Spotland. We talked about them in our pod where we sort of went through the sort of quarterish review, and quarterish and Evans is a word. Thank you very much. And
Jesus.
Well, it is a word now. We've made it a word. But wonderful stuff. I'm really pleased for FC Wimbledon that they're playing good football. They're getting results. And yeah, if they finish top half, that's huge. That's a huge result for them.
There's a big factor around the club, isn't there? I mean, I think at the start of the season we had them low down.
We had them staying up, I think, didn't we?
We had them staying up, yeah. But this season, it just all seems to be clicking for them. The new stadium's coming into place, and there's just a real it's just that feel-good factor, and I think that's really helping them.
9th in the form table with 9 points from the last 6 games, playing well, and really impressing. I mean, Pigott's been excellent this season. Let's be honest. I've liked quite a few of their players. Nightingale's at the heart of defence yesterday, and he played well. I think the whole team actually had a good game. But you do have some, you have some players like Alex Woodyard, who, really good footballer in midfield. Riley as well, Callum Riley, is a good player. Hartigan at the centre of that. Yeah. And the player I keep going on about him, but Longman on loan from Brighton. Love him. I think he's a great player. Really, really good player. And excellent stuff. I'm really pleased for them. Ed, the reason you decided to join this podcast late, I can only assume, is you were drinking pints of whiskey after a 3-1 defeat at home to Northampton. Burton Albion losing 3-1, going bottom of the table. Is it as bad as it sounds? Is it Buxton out yet?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Ooh. Yes. This game was over 90 seconds in when Northampton went 1-0 up.
That's not good, is it?
I was generally watching this slumped, just thinking, can we have the whistle? It's got to that stage. You get to that stage where you're looking at the fixtures and you're wondering where the 3 points are coming from. And when you realise that you've got in the next month Charlton Athletic, Sunderland, Crewe Alexandra, Milton Keynes Dons, Ipswich Town, Doncaster Rovers, and Lincoln City, we could be adrift by 10 points. I don't have any confidence in this team, and I don't have any confidence, unfortunately, in an inexperienced manager who, unfortunately, is out of his depth in his job at this early stage of his managerial career. And I kind of feel for Northampton that they had to concede a goal at the end for a stupid handball because they deserved the clean sheet. They were miles better. They weren't exactly brilliant. I don't think they were as ruthless as I've seen them play before, but they took advantage of the fact that Burton are the worst team in the division. And can the season end, please?
Oh, dude, you do not sound happy.
Stop the count.
Tell me, I haven't seen much of him this season, I'll be honest. Ricky Holmes, what was he like yesterday? Because, of course, he's such a good player, but he's got these injury problems and he's getting into the sort of twilight of his career. How good was he?
He was good. It was him and Chukwuemeka, who's a lot bigger than I remember him actually being. He's an absolute giant, maybe because of the midfielders he was up against, but they were kind of more drifting into the channels with Harry Smith looking to get in behind and made good use of that with the second goal. And no, they were great, and all credit to them for that. I think we look at Northampton's results, they're picking up wins against teams that are in the bottom four, and you would have to say that's going to be enough to keep them at least 20th this season, so all credit to them for it.
Yeah, if you can beat the teams in and around you, it doesn't really matter. Because, people talk about seasons being defined not by the games against the top teams when you're a struggler. Absolutely true, isn't it? Absolutely true.
Definitely.
And look at Burton. You've lost 3-1 at home to Northampton, but that sucker punch against Salop, against Shrewsbury, it's not a good sign, is it? And I mean, tell us, you were talking, was it last week, about the fact that you've got a lot of players isolating stuff, but I looked at the 11 when the team sheet was announced. I thought that's not that weak.
No, it's not that weak. There were a couple who were able to back. Lucas Akins, for instance, was back into the team, but it's still not full strength. We had Lucas Akins playing up top yesterday, and it's back to the issue of last season after Liam Boyce departs, where you've got Lucas, who is a great player in his own right, but he's not someone you want to be with his back to goal, laying off others. You want him to be being laid off by someone else, and that really makes a strength of him. And I think he put Niall Ennis out on the wing instead to try and get the pace against the man, which he beat him a couple of times, but there was so few options in the box with Northampton to set up, and we're trying to score set pieces against the tallest team in the league, and I do not understand why we were prioritising corners so much. It's like trying to outdo possession against Manchester City. What's the point?
Yeah, and really, they've got, if you look at their defence, Bolger, Horsfield,
exactly.
and Sheehan.
Bolger had a couple of shaky moments. Sheehan was fantastic, really good. Mitchell didn't really have much to do, and like I say, the only real fault on them was that ridiculous handball in the final minute, which gave Burton a penalty. And Northampton really should have had a clean sheet from that because they were just perfect. They did the job.
It's always the tough thing of going from player to manager.
Yeah,
it is changing that relationship you have with the team. I think you touched on this.
I'm not sure he's able to go at people. He's just such a nice guy, Jake Bucks, and I wonder if he's definitely got the respect of the players. There's no doubt in that, but I don't know. You've got to be able at times to be ruthless with them and tell them when things aren't right and kick them up the arse, so to speak. And I don't know if he's able to do that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I don't think there's an assistant there that's able to do that either. That's part of the problem. He hasn't really. because Andy Garner's now gone off to Mansfield with Clough. The whole backroom staff's probably going to end up there as well. So he's in such a difficult situation, and
I mean, that's the
it's
tough
only
thing
going one way.
as a rookie manager in general. Even if you're not, going straight from
Yeah.
playing, you need that generally an older assistant with you to help you settle in, give you the wisdom that you don't have yet because you've not managed for long, and maybe he does just need that support.
He's been thrown in the deep end very quick, and unfortunately it's not working, but no one's quite entirely sure if Burton can actually afford to let him off and replace someone else, which if you can't, come out and say, and we'll be accepting of that. We understand the financial situation this club is in, but it's not good at all. But if you can't afford to lay him off and say we're going to have to stick with him this season, we'll be willing to accept that. We just need to hear it.
Yeah.
People are going to ask why he's still in the job otherwise.
Yeah, there needs to be transparency. This is a big thing in football in general. You need to treat the fans like adults.
Just communicate with them. Just let them know.
Yeah.
I think, let's be honest, that would be a very difficult message to say to the fans. We know our manager's not good enough, but we can't afford to get rid of him.
Yeah. Or just say you're backing him for the season then. Just say that.
You can word it in a better way.
It's a way to word it. We just need some clarity because people are going to wake up today and wonder why he's still in the job, and they'll keep doing that to the season unless they get told exactly why he's still in the situation. And if he is going to stay to the season, fine, I can live with that. I just want to know that there isn't the option to replace him with someone else.
And give him an assistant.
Right, league table time. Hull City top, 27 points from 12 games. Wonderful start to the season for them. Not drawn a game yet. Won 9, lost 3, but still. It's only 12 games, but still, very impressive start to the season. Peterborough, despite a disappointing result yesterday, still in the top 2. Ipswich could change that because they have a game in hand on Posh. They're third. Portsmouth, Charlton and Lincoln. Lincoln just slipping a little bit down into 6th. But if you look at that top 6, you've got Hull, Ipswich, Portsmouth, Charlton, Peterborough. These are apart from Sunderland, these are the teams you'd expect to be up there, I think, at this level of football. And so, no complaints there. Fleetwood's rise is happening. They're into 7th. Like I said, Sunderland 8th. Accrington, wonderful for them. 9th in the table. Still got 2 games in hand on those above them, 3 on some of them. So, long may that continue. Really impressive. Burton sit in 24th place. Only 7 points from the opening 13 games, which is so poor when you consider Wigan, who've had all their problems, are on the identical points as well. They're on 7. Yes, I know, not good. Shrewsbury Town, they sit in 22nd with 8 points. Shrewsbury Town have only scored 6 goals this season in 12 games.
Oof.
No, sorry, 11. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. This is my dyslexia here. Playing in. It's 11 goals in 12 games, which is actually, it's still not good. It's better than Wigan, but it's still not great.
Better than 6.
Yeah, much better than 6. I was thinking, I'm sure they scored more than that. Bristol Rovers, big job for Paul Tisdale there. 21st place at the moment. Rochdale in 20th. Oxford up to 19th, the lofty heights of 19th, with a massive game, of course, against Swindon coming up. So that's going to be fun. It's a shame there's no crowd, because it's been a while since we played them. But yeah.
But the police are glad there's no crowd.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, much like the Dockyard Derby. Was it last week? I'm sure there are some police forces around the country right now thinking, Saturdays are so much easier for us at the moment. But come on, let's jump down and have a look in the 4th tier. Let's jump into League 2.
League 2.
And the funniest reaction I've ever seen from fans of an appointment of a manager came from Tranmere yesterday. It was great, wasn't it?
This was excellent.
Some of the humour. I have to give them credit. Great humour from the boys from the Wirral. Absolutely wonderful stuff. They announced the appointment of Keith Hill coming in, and 21 days. It took them 21 days to appoint Keith Hill. And I think that was that's the big bugbear. There's a lot of talk about who can they get. Cowley's available. Paul Hurst's out there. Loads of good managers available, and they went for Keith Hill, ex-Bolton.
The ex-Bolton man, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they love about it.
The replies were absolutely superb. Well done, Tranmere fans, for him.
It's quite funny. On minutes earlier, you pulled off probably your biggest win in well over a year and absolutely battered Grimsby. And then you get that reaction when he's appointed.
Come on, okay, take away the Bolton. Right, his spell at Bolton was ill-fated, and I think it's very difficult to judge him on that because, he had to basically buy a team on deadline day who had no pre-season and try and fashion them into a side that could overcome a 12-point penalty. I mean, it was doomed from the start.
But I mean, aside from Rochdale, his success has been limited.
But what success? I mean, I have to give him credit for Rochdale though. Like Rochdale, I mean, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
A team that hadn't been promoted in over 30 years. I mean, imagine that, Chris, eh? Supporting a team that's not been promoted in 30 years.
How crap's that? Yeah. No, but the thing is though, like there's certain managers that fit very, very well with certain clubs. The classic three I always think of is John Sheridan at Oldham, Keith Hill at Rochdale, Jimmy Gannon at Stockport.
Yeah. So all these Northwest clubs seem to have just one manager that can just do well for them. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I've never seen much of him away from Rochdale. Something clicks for him there. And the big thing is he feels like a quick fix, but it's a quick fix that's taken nearly a month.
That's the problem, isn't it?
It's mental.
And Tranmere have got some wonderful... look at their squad. Their squad is far better than loads of the teams in the division. I mean, the form table over the last 6 games says it all, really. I think they're third in that form table, 12 points. And... credit to, is it Dawes who's been in looking after them?
It's 2 of them. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Oh, that's terrible. We should know this.
Yeah, I did hear it said. I can't remember at the top of my head.
I think they're both Ian Dawes and Andy Parkinson.
That's right. Of course, Andy Parkinson. Yeah, I know Andy Parkinson. I mean, wonderful job they've done. Let's give them huge credit because they've not just steadied this ship. They've turned it around and they've got the blooming engines blazing, going right in the right direction. And I'm surprised.
On the bounce.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't give it to. I mean, the signing of Danny Lloyd, we really like him on this podcast. I mean, he has been playing a 10, and that gives him another great option. He came off the bench yesterday. I've watched this game back this morning. I've been analysing it for work, and it's difficult to describe how poor Grimsby were. They were shocking. They were shocking. Corey Blackett-Taylor had so much time and space down that left-hand side. McDonald was coming to join in, and Grimsby were playing a system that they hadn't tried this season, and it was so obvious they hadn't ever. The players had no idea what they were doing. They had Harry Clifton at left back. Pollock and Waterfall were poor. Tranmere absolutely took them to the cleaners. Every time Tranmere came forward, they looked like scoring. There was no presence up top for Grimsby. Owara Edwards tried hard, he runs hard. Montel Gibson the same, but these are guys that are finding their feet in the EFL. Not experienced players. They lacked a cutting edge, and it was just so weak all over the park from Grimsby. I really did feel sorry for James McEwen because he didn't get the protection at all that he needed. And I think his play has been a little bit like the team, a bit beleaguered at times. And, he looks like a guy who's sort of knows it's all on him in some respects, and it's pretty tough times for Mariners fans. But Ian Holloway got a lot of criticism. He was saying after the game that if the fans want him to go, he'll go, but he wants to stay and fight. And I think he has to be given time to stay and fight. But stop tinkering with it. He changes the formation. I mean, they've played like 3-4-3, 3-5-2, 4-4-2, 4-3-3.
He feels like he doesn't really know what his best setup is.
Well, he's got a huge amount of players to pick from as part of his problem as well.
Yeah.
He's got a huge number of players, particularly in midfield areas and wing areas.
But they're all inexperienced, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's no real sense of who... Well, the experienced ones, you'd probably say are Matt Green and James Hansen, and Hansen's not been around for a long time in the squad.
He's injured, isn't he? I mean, you have to say that it's very unlikely they'll get a prolonged spell from him again. I can't see it happening.
No.
He was coming back. He was coming on as substitute for a few games, and he's coming back. But really, really disappointing stuff from Grimsby, and no experience in key areas. And the recruitment, we knew this. We said this on a pre-season predictions podcast. From what I was understanding coming out of the club was that they lost senior players in the end for a matter of 50 quid. That's the difference between the contracts that they were offering and other people were offering, and they lost those players. Jake Hessenthaler, Elliot Whitehouse, these are good pros. They're doing well at the clubs that they've joined, and they're sorely missed at Grimsby, and it was shocking. Absolutely far too easy for Tranmere, who, like I said, took their chance. I mean, James Vaughan had a field day. That's the kind of player that Grimsby need, and he is still so good.
We all need a James Vaughan I think every team.
He's superb. He holds the ball up. He's got pace. He's a great finisher. He's a clever player, and he was excellent. And I think bringing in Keith Hill, what I would say is it's difficult. It's difficult to tell Tranmere fans to back a man that they just do not like. But he had a win percentage in his first spell at Rochdale of 43%, 44%, in his second spell of 40%. So he has got a good record, and he's got a good record at this level. But I just think
I think one of the big problems with him is that he's got a fantastic record at Rochdale, and if he can translate that into what he does at Tranmere, he'll do very, very well, obviously. But he's not the most what's the phrase, inspiring person to listen to. And that probably didn't help.
What's this thing is he knows his onions? I've seen loads of people tweeting about him.
What?
He knows his onions. I assume he must have said this. I know my onions. He must have said it a few times.
I think he said that before.
Yeah, it seems to be.
He comes out with some strange things.
Well, there you go. It'll be interesting, and I wish Tranmere all the best. Of course, I'd love to see them bounce straight back up after what happened to them last season. But they've definitely got the squad to do it. I know Stephen Payne's out injured long term, but Morgan Ferry is back now, so they do have some options to support James Vaughan. You've got to give him a rest at some point with these games coming as quickly as they are. But superb, they were excellent yesterday. Can't fault them at all. And I have to say, one of their key players, Chris, and you'll love to hear this, Peter Clark, was absolutely brilliant.
Every time he has a good game, a little bit of me dies inside. He's a fantastic player.
He's such a good partner to Manny Mont, isn't he? That's a great centre-back pairing.
I mean, how scary must that be?
I bet.
How terrifying. But, what a player. What a man. What a guy to have around the club as well.
Indeed. The Friday night affair saw Mansfield Town draw 1-1 with Colchester. This was a good game, actually. I really enjoyed it. I can see Mansfield's improvements already. Still would like to see Jamie Reid given a chance, but James Perch has gone back into centre-back, and he's been excellent with Farron Rawson since Clough has come in. Obviously, Clough probably knows a couple of these guys from his time at Derby as well. Kellen Gordon at right-back, pacey, strong, good attacking full-back. He's done really well, kind of made that right-back position his own. Corey O'Keefe is going to have to battle to get back in there. Benning had a good game. I still feel there's more to come from them in an attacking sense. Colchester looks so pacey and good on the break and thoroughly deserve the point, although both keepers will probably be looked at for the errors they made. But I really do want to focus a little bit on Carlisle. They played Crawley yesterday. I thought John Yems was very measured in his response in the post-match. I was expecting, I could see he wanted to lose it. He wasn't happy, but Carlisle, you can't fault that performance. They were absolutely superb. They were brilliant. They played lovely football. The stats are great, by the way. I've been tweeting out a few of their stats about most touches in the box, most counter-attacks with a shot, probably most chances created, or up there with the teams with the most chances created this season. They are playing football, and that is a huge credit to Chris Beach, to his backroom staff, to his recruitment team, because they don't have a big budget, and like he said, I don't want 5 subs because we've had to cut our budget accordingly, and I don't see it fair that teams can literally just bring on all the top players if you've got money, and he thinks 3's enough. They've been managing. They've had a couple of serious injuries, but they've been managing quite well despite playing all these games, and a lot of their players are playing week in, week out. I mean, that midfield, Callum Guy and John Mellish are. Yeah, you name me 2 better midfielders in League 2 at the moment. I'll wait.
I'm just surprised they scored 3 goals and Mellish wasn't one of them. That's the biggest shock of the lot, really, isn't it?
Yeah, his run at Vardy's record is
2
gone.
centre-backs score and not the actual centre-back and midfielder.
They could have had a hatful. They could have had a hatful. I think the one thing Yems will be disappointed about is there was some really good football from Carlisle in that first half. Crawley in that first half. They were playing quite well, but they were marshalled by Hayden and Reece Bennett, of course. What a pickup he was at centre back for Carlisle. He had a superb game, very experienced guy. And then the goal, like you have to say, the shot. Who was had the shot? I know Glenn Morris made a good save to start with, and then basically none of the Crawley players followed in, and it was an easy finish in the end for Carlisle to sort of basically seal the win once they got the second. And Crawley, they've got no right backs left, I've noticed, because Francome's out injured, then Davis went off, and then his replacement got sent off. So going to be interesting to see who they play. But come on, Ed, Carlisle, we thought it would take a lot longer for this team to click, and at the start of the season they had those shaky performances and were conceding badly. It's just suddenly all got better, hasn't it?
It has, and like you say, I don't think we were fully expecting this yet. I think we thought there'd be quite a long development period because of how many players come in, but George Tanner and Nick Anderton look settled as an excellent pair of fullbacks. Aaron Hayden's leading from the back. He's looked good alongside Reece Bennett or Rod McDonald whenever those two have been playing. The midfield three, as you say, is fantastic. Absolutely love Callum Guy. We all know about John Mellish's goal-scoring exploits. Drew Rice looked good in there as well. If I had one criticism of them, I don't think Gavin Riley's really delivered to a consistent level yet as either a striker or a left winger. But when you've got people like Jimmy Toure, Joshua Coyote, Amari Patrick and Alessandro in the goals, it doesn't really matter that much, and they look like a formidable team at the moment.
They do. They look. I mean, Jimmy Toure coming back. They've done well without him, but he's such a good player.
Yeah.
He offers them a lot of threat. And I think Riley has been, he complements. I know he doesn't do quite as much as Mellish and Guy, but that's quite hard to do, in fairness. But he does complement them well in that midfield three. And I think in Tanner they've got a player who's going to be a terrific asset for them. He's starting to play superbly well. I mean, good defensively, good going forward. Excellent stuff. And Chris Beach deserves massive, massive credit for what he's put together there. Superb performance again. So well done in all respects. And a massive win for Leyton Orient, Chris, because they've been on a poor run of form. They beat Harrogate 3-0. Danny Johnson coming back. He was rested, I suppose. He was put on the bench last week. And this is Embleton probably showing a bit of good man management, because he said he looked a bit jaded, a bit tired, and he's had that rest and he's back with a couple of crackers. Really good finishes for these goals.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. They'd lost 2 on the bounce, and Harrogate, all right, they've not been having the best of times at the moment, but we've been impressed with them this season. So to come out with a really, really assured win is really impressive from Leyton Orient, and I've got a soft spot for them. I think a lot of us do. And they were fantastic yesterday. Absolutely first class performance from Johnson. They were wonderful, and I hope they can carry it on.
I've been impressed with Connor Wilkinson this season for them. Actually, I think.
Me too. Surprisingly, actually,
Joby McAnuff as well deserves mention.
39
his age, he's bossing it in that midfield. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think it shows how much they missed him, doesn't it, last season?
Yeah.
And they've got James Brophy, who played sort of as the left-sided, attacker, but he can play left back, and
he can go everywhere at the left.
Happ and Coulson have been good. Lim came in at right back, and they've done well. They've done really well.
It's good to see Connor Wilkinson just back on him to actually kick on, because I've always had some doubts about him. He spent a bit of time at Oldham, and I think other fans at other clubs have said similar things, that his head's not always looked in the right place.
I think that's fair. I think Gillingham fans would agree.
But at Leyton Orient, he's looked assured in his abilities, and he clearly does have a lot of ability. An assist yesterday, and he's really showing it with Leyton Orient, and I hope he can carry it on. Indeed. Great result for them. Newport, Kevin Ellison, 41 years young, scores in the last minute to beat Port Vale by 1-0, moves them 3 points clear at the top, with Cambridge not playing. Of course, their game cancelled because of COVID outbreak at Southend. And Ellison comes out and says, I should be playing more. Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. He should be playing more. I
have to say, I would have been quite happy if Oldham had picked him up. I think he's a fantastic player to have around the squad, because he's got ability, clearly. He's a fantastic head to have around the younger players. He's 41, but he's still a fantastic player, and he's got a few goals in him.
Yes, he has, and that was a smart finish, actually. Really quick reactions. They still got those reactions, Kev. So well done. And he blasts it in, and those kind of results, are important. And against a team that had just gone down, or had gone down to 10 men, it can be difficult to break them down, but they keep going. and how important those points might be at the end of the season. We'll have to wait and see. Salford City beat Bradford 3-0. Bradford, guys, they are.
I don't know what to say about them.
They're so average. I mean, they're so poor.
They're not even average at the minute. They're on a decline.
They're below average.
They don't even look average. There's genuine worry amongst the fans that they're going to slip into the relegation zone. I'm not entirely sure about that, but
they're below.
It's not even average. It's below. It's far below average at the minute. It's worse than last season, which is saying something.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, Luke Burgess coming back from Fylde and scoring 2, and that goal he scored was excellent. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Although I think the defending was a bit dodgy.
Questionable.
There's very little effort to try and stop him, really.
It was a bit easy, wasn't it? They had Gareth Evans back as well, Bradford. They had Gareth Evans back in the team. He'd obviously been out after joining with injury. They had the back four of the two O'Connors and Ben Richards Everton. Elliot Watt sort of sitting. I think Harry Pritchard. I mean, I like Harry Pritchard, but
Did they play a midfield yesterday, Bradford?
Well, apparently not. It was a poor result. Let's be honest. It was a very, very poor result. But when Salford City. I think the 5 sub rules, people will argue that it will benefit them because they've got a squad with they've got a squad with good players.
I mean, we talked about it last season as well when Oldham was signing. We signed Carl Gianni on loan and Emmanuel Desavere, however you say that. I'll try my best there.
Round of applause.
But they had 2 squads there that were capable of playing in League Two, and it's the same this season. They have immense depth, and of course a 5 sub rule is going to benefit them more than it's going to benefit other teams.
Indeed, but impressive result, and the fact that they can bring on. I mean, Tom Elliott didn't even get off the bench, but they've got like Bruno Andrade, who's yet to impress me at Salford, to be honest. Ashley Hunter came on though. They've got depth. They've got good players. George Boyd as well. There now.
And I think Wellens is a good fit for the type of players they have.
Oh, Wellens is a great manager.
Particularly in Henderson, I think he'll really get the best out of him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's much like Johan Doyle, isn't he? He's a striker who prioritises movement, and Wellens loves those kind of strikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll watch him. I mean, he's already scoring loads already, but he'll improve.
He shouldn't be in League Two, Henderson. He was fantastic at Rochdale in League One, and I think he could absolutely have moved to another League One club.
He absolutely could. Scunthorpe drew 1-1 with Morecambe. Scunthorpe will be happy that they've just, they've started to improve, and I think Morecambe probably deserved it, a point in the end. So fair play to them. A Bolton fan tweeted out yesterday, "Is it just me, or is my iFollow really, really low quality?" And I said to him, "That's just the way Bolton play, mate." But tongue in cheek, it was tongue in cheek, and fair play to them. They went to Stevenage and they actually got, they played well in that first half, especially. Disappointed that they conceded just before the break, switched off and made the second half a lot harder than it needed to be. But it's another win. It's another win for them. Ali Crawford getting on the score sheet, that'll do his confidence no end of good. And maybe, are we saying, guys? I mean, Ed, I'll let you field this. Bolton slowly getting used to this football and starting to show signs of improvement. Their form has been, in the last 5 has been excellent. In the last 6 has been very good.
Yeah, it's certainly improving, and they've got Scunthorpe and Southend next, so you'd be wanting 6 points really from that to get the momentum onto that and then carry it into the games coming forward. So it's a tricky one. I certainly get the sense there's a bit more of an understanding of that style, and that Johan Doyle is starting to be utilised a bit more for what he's actually good with, rather than being dragged out into the channels. But they're still a long way off where we really feel they should be this season.
Yeah, they're improving. Stevenage though, are Stevenage fans at the level yet where they're praying for a club to go into bankruptcy?
Yes,
I'm worried about them now.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd see this from them this season. I thought their recruitment was largely sensible over the summer. I thought they'd be in a far better place, and they've really disappointed me.
Yeah, they're struggling to score again. That's the big thing. They can't score goals, and they'll be disappointed with the defending for those goals yesterday.
8 goals is that? I am reading that right. 8 goals.
Is it really as low as that? That's not good. That's not good at all. Southend have scored 6. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Scunthorpe and Stevenage with 8 goals. Ugh, eek. It's not looking good at all. And I hope they do find a way of improving. But they have not done well. They'll be looking on and hope. Yeah, I mean, they were let off last season, let's be honest, because they were awful on the pitch. Not sure that you can argue too much about Macclesfield's demise, because it was so long term that something needed to give there.
I do have more confidence in this squad, though, than I do last year's.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence in Cheltenham. 3-0 win against Walsall. Walsall, who were drawing a lot of games now, losing more than they should be. Hugely disappointing performance from them. Cheltenham, though, imperious again. 3-0 victory. Great squad depth. I'd be interested to know if Duff wanted the 5-sub rule, because he does have a lot of depth, and it might give over to him improving. He only made 2 subs yesterday, and I was going to
say that suggests.
Well, the only thing he really changed at Cheltenham is the amount of strikers they've got, because they've got about 70.
Yeah,
so he could have a different 2 every 30 minutes at the minute. For the way
it's rude how many strikers they have.
Yeah, rude.
And they've got good midfield depth as well, actually, central areas.
Yeah, Chris Clement's not in the side yesterday, but he's a good player. They've got Ellis Chapman from Lincoln. He's now playing regularly and will do well. Good young player. Great pickup from them. Sang hasn't really got on. Azaz is back from injury, so that's another option. He's quite a creative player. And they've got goalkeeping depth for the first time this season, and that's Griffiths and Flinders fighting out. It went for Griffiths in the end yesterday, and I think he should keep his place, given that he's kept 6 clean sheets already this season. So fair play. But Williams and May linking up well, and George Lloyd back from he was on great form before he had the concussion, and the concussion protocols obviously had to be adhered to. So the fact that Alfie May took his chance is massive credit to him. So. Cheltenham sitting pretty, looking very good at the moment. Barrow continue to impress me, especially at Hulk Street. 2-2 draw with Forest Green Rovers yesterday. They'll have been disappointed. It was 96th minute, wasn't it? When a lot of late goals, by the way, yesterday.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, really late. Forest Green getting a point, and I think if you go to Barrow and get a point, from what I've seen of Barrow's play this season, that's a very good result. I would take that. I'd take that all day long. I think that's an impressive result. And I have to say, I don't know, would you guys agree with this? Like, result of the day goes to Oldham?
I'm biased,
goal of the day goes to Oldham.
Goal of the day, yeah.
You know what? I feel bad on the first goal, because that was actually an excellent finish as well. Blackwood coming out with a superb strike, and then
still not convinced that Blackwood's a wide player, but
he's not a wide player. He should not be playing wide, but I'm happy.
Finished superbly. Absolutely beautiful finish. And Danny Rowe, let's be honest, he does this all the time though. Like, this is people who are perhaps not familiar with him. He shoots from distance a lot, and at Fylde he scored loads of goals from outside the box.
I can remember a game. I went to Fylde. I think they were playing Dagenham, and I'm sure it was Danny Rowe with a free kick from about 30 yards out in the corner.
Yeah.
So it didn't surprise me at all. No.
He's got some foot on him. It's the old Alan Partridge, foot like a traction engine.
He's an intelligent player as well.
Has they not put Alan Pardew's clip over that free kick yet?
Yeah, it has been done.
It has been done. Good.
It was I tell you what really impressed me yesterday was the defence, because we've talked a lot this season about how disappointing the defence has been. Harry Clark came into it to shore it up, and he was out injured, and messaged James before the game and said this is going to be I think we're going to be demolished today. And then we went 1-0 down after 10 minutes, and I put a tweet out saying this is going to be a long old afternoon. And I tell you what, Carl Pergiani, I think that's his first really good performance of the season. I think bringing in Harry Clark and him being out for a couple of weeks because he's been self-isolating, it's just reminded him that there is competition for places now.
How's Rafael Diarra looked?
I'm not sold on him yet, but there's something there.
He's a determined player, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he is. Still not convinced by Dylan Page. But defensively, as a whole, I thought we were excellent yesterday. And Danny Rowe had a masterclass again. And
you still not got McElhaney or Durnley,
And that's the interesting thing, because you bring them into the team. I'm more confident in our defence now. I still think certain players should be made available for selection. But you bring in these strikers, and suddenly we look like a reasonably formidable team. I think looking forward to January, I think we still need something extra in that midfield. But I feel far more confident than I did a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Even with that loss against Scunthorpe, which was a bad loss.
It was a bad loss. It was bad performance. I'd say to Harry Kewell as well, just be a bit more consistent with your lineup. That's yes. The one thing I'd say.
Absolutely.
But it leaves you guys in 17th. So, heady heights, eh? Newport top, Cheltenham second, Cambridge third, with Carlisle, Forest Green, Exeter and Colchester in those playoff places. Salford just outside. I'd keep an eye on them. I do think they'll improve hugely under Welland. Port Vale slipping and worrying run of form for them. Morecambe in 10th deserve massive accolades. Tranmere, I think it'll be interesting to watch. We'll keep a close eye on what Tranmere do over the next.
It's really tied that top half, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. I love it. Absolutely. This is exactly what you want the league to be. You don't want to see someone just steamrolling it. Southend, obviously, in big trouble, 5 points from 12 games there, stuck at the bottom of the table. Stevenage slipping into the bottom 2 for the first time this season. Scunthorpe, Mansfield, Grimsby, those teams in and around it. Bradford in 19th. So. Not good from the Bantams. Guys, thank you very much for joining me this morning. Really appreciate it. Ed, belatedly, although it was.
Sorry about that. I just apologise.
I forgive you. And if you hope you've enjoyed listening to this, please share it, give it a retweet, and have a great week, everyone. We'll be back next time for another podcast. Until then, goodbye.